everyone. Today I will be talking about something that impacts us all. Parents and the way that they parent us. Specifically, I'll be focusing on the different parenting styles and how they impact us across several life stages, infancy through adolescence. I will explore Baumrein's parenting styles, which is authoritarian, authoritative, permissive, and the one that was eventually added, uninvolved or neglectful. I'm going to analyze the connection between these and Erikson's stages of psychosocial development, mainly focusing on the first few. This topic was very interesting to me because I am still currently in high school. I'm surrounded by lots of different people, and we were all raised in different ways with different parenting strategies and techniques. I've seen firsthand how parenting affects people, whether it's their behavior, relationships, or confidence. I wanted to explore why this happens for my research paper and for this presentation. In conducting my research, I consulted many scholarly articles while also setting up an interview with Rose Appelfeller, who is a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner. She provided insight into how counselors can help to aid parents in developing healthy parenting styles. For my research, I am going to highlight how parenting is connected to the way that we develop, specifically focusing on those few stages. To begin, I will start with infancy, which is the stage from birth through 2 years old, about. This is comprised of Erikson's stages of trust versus mistrust and autonomy versus shame and doubt. In the first year of life, babies are forming their understanding of how their needs are met or not met by their parents. This can be many different things. This can be feeding them when they cry, changing their diapers, putting them to sleep, but it can also be more emotional needs like nurturing them and comforting them. The most desirable parenting style, according to our textbook written by Laura Overstreet, is authoritative. This is a balance of meeting those physical needs and eventually the structure and demandingness while also meeting the emotional needs of the infant and throughout other life stages. According to our textbook, an authoritative parenting style will often lead to a secure attachment style. On the other hand, styles like authoritarian, which is often characterized by strict and controlling behavior, permissive, which is the lack of structure and demandingness while still providing that emotional support, and uninvolved parenting, which does not provide adequate emotional or support otherwise. These can lead to those insecure attachment styles. Attachment styles follow us throughout life, according to our textbook, and can impact our relationships, our confidence, and more. This is trust versus mistrust because we learn whether we can rely on our parents or caregivers to meet our needs. Erikson highlights, and it is highlighted in our textbook, how if the conflicts in these stages are not resolved, it continues to impact us and change how we progress through the next stages. As babies become toddlers and are able to walk, the focus shifts to autonomy versus shame and doubt. Our textbook tells us that when they start to explore, whether this is through walking, talking, or learning to feed themselves, they need independence and they need to be able to explore. Parents who are patient and are encouraging to their children, such as authoritative parents, help to promote children that become confident and competent. Some parents, like an authoritarian parenting, may be more strict or controlling and do not allow their children the freedom to explore. Obviously, there need to be boundaries and limitations, which is where permissive and uninvolved parenting comes in, as they do not set necessarily those boundaries. Authoritative parents have proven to be the most beneficial parenting style. Ornstein and Lewis highlight in their research paper how authoritarian parenting can be especially harmful during this stage. Not having the freedom to explore, even from a young age, continues to impact children throughout their lives. As we move into the next stage, which is early childhood, or ages 2 through 6, this can be clearly seen. This is Erikson's stage of initiative versus guilt. Initiative takes place during the time when children are beginning to go to school. They become more social, ask more questions, and are more curious about their world. They're expected to take initiative, which results from that independence that they were either given or not given from a young age. Children need this freedom, and from a young age, they are told whether they are able to be independent or not. If they are being constantly scolded or micromanaged, they may feel that their curiosity and creativity is too much, which leads to that sense of guilt. A 2023 research paper written in India by Gogarey and Telegote highlights how the negative consequences of parenting tactics becomes more and more apparent during this stage. For example, children of uninvolved or even permissive parents may begin to show evidence of poorer academic performance than their peers. Furthermore, children with uninvolved parents begin to exhibit behavioral difficulties such as with regulating emotions. On the other hand, the children of authoritarian parents often have higher academic performance than some of their peers, yet they struggle with poorer social skills and a fear of failure and the fear to ask questions to authority figures. The next stage is middle childhood, which is characterized by Erikson's stage of industry versus inferiority. Industry, which is also known as competence, comes about when children are going to schools, forming relationships outside of the home, and building new skills, whether that's academics, sports, or in their hobbies. Parenting style is very important during middle childhood. Authoritative parents are able to provide that freedom that children need, and the foundation that they've already laid has allowed their children to become confident in their own abilities. On the other hand, authoritarian parents, while they push their children to succeed, can often instill a fear of failure into children. Rose Appelfeller, the mental health professional I interviewed, highlighted how children often come to think in a black and white way of thinking. This can mean, in this case, that they either see themselves as a success or a failure. This can lead to those feelings of inferiority that Erikson highlights. On the other hand, uninvolved or neglectful parents may not be supporting their children enough academically, which leads to those same feelings of inferiority. A feeling of inferiority is not something that just goes away. It sticks with you for life and will often show up in many nuanced ways. The final stage I will talk about is adolescence. This is ages 12 to 18, when a child enters high school and eventually enters college or the workforce. During this stage, preteens and teenagers are beginning to ask questions about their identity, which presents identity versus role confusion. They may ask, who am I? What do I believe in? Where do I fit into society? This is when parenting style can really make or break someone's ability to form an identity. Teens need that space for independence and to explore themselves while still having the structure and guidance that parents should provide. Authoritative parents tend to balance this very well, allowing their children to form their own identity while still providing the necessary guidance for their age. Authoritarian parents, on the other hand, may continue to try to control their teens' beliefs and behaviors, which often leads to rebellion or deep confusion, according to Gogarey and Telegote. Permissive parenting may offer that freedom that teens need, but a lack of guidance, and the same thing goes for uninvolved parenting. In fact, this is a very difficult parenting style to grow up with. They may struggle a lot later in life. In my interview with Rose Appelfeller, I was able to better understand how the parenting styles impact adolescence. She highlighted how students with an uninvolved parenting style struggle often in the transition to college. The responsibility increases, and this can lead to situational anxiety and depression. Similarly, children with authoritarian parents may fear failure and struggle with the added responsibility, leading to the same things. One of the most important things I wanted to highlight was how these stages do not just affect us in childhood. While some people may think our parents only affect us early in our lives, these effects can carry on for many years, even after we've left the home. In conclusion, parenting is a crucial aspect of our development. My research has highlighted how nurture is an extremely important part of our psychosocial development. Through my research, I have learned how important it is for parents to provide children with a balance of both support and demandingness. I hope this information can be useful to you when parenting your own children or considering your own development. Thank you.